Okay, good afternoon, good day. John Pryor here from Exalt IP, and I'm really pleased today to have alongside me Steve Mills to interview with regards to his deep expertise on sales and marketing. And the topic and the question we want to post for you today is how can your business survive and thrive in 2023? Clearly, market conditions are very different from what they were a year ago and changing all the time. So how can you be completely on top of your sales and marketing in your business? So Steve's been doing this for, he's going to tell me exactly, but I think it's close to 30 years. And I've been working with Steve now for over a year. And from my side, I would recommend him completely in terms of helping your business to get sales and marketing up and running. So without much more of ado, I'm going to hand over to Steve to introduce himself. Steve.
Thank you very much, John, and thanks for your kind words. It's actually 27 years, John, 28 years on the 1st of May. And it just seems a lifetime, to be honest, that I've been involved in business. But basically what I do is I work with businesses who are looking to grow. I really help them, I think, in 3 ways. The first way is businesses who are just too busy to do their own marketing. They're often tied up with operational work and they just simply don't get things done. The second group are people who really want to grow. They've got the time, but they don't really get this modern digital world that we're all living in. I hear people all the time telling me, well, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really know what to do. I've tried Google AdWords, but that doesn't really work. And the truth is, it's not that it doesn't work, it's just that it hasn't worked so far. And then the third group are people who are they've been around a while, they're reasonably successful, but they rely pretty much on word of mouth and referral to grow their business, and so really just self-limit themselves because there's only so much they can do by doing very little marketing, basically. So work with thousands of businesses in hundreds of industries, helping them to grow, basically.
I think you've got a fantastic set of testimonials. I've seen some of your case studies, and I think, if I'm honest, it was those that really convinced me to start work with you. Some really good case studies in terms of how you've been able to turn businesses move them from X up to 10X or even 100X in some cases within a relatively small period of time. And I think also what I like about working with you, Steve, is, of course, you're from Yorkshire and even from Sheffield, which is even better. And of course, a Yorkshire accent is the most trusted in the world. We all know that. But you dispense with logical, easy, and practical advice that anybody can pick up with and start work on. And if I may, Steve, could you? I work with both product and service companies, and if there is a differentiation between the two and how they should go to market, we'd like to pull that out through the course of the conversation. But what are the main errors you find when you start working with clients? What are the main things that you start to turn around when you start to the journey with your clients?
Okay, yeah, great question. The number one thing is the lack of understanding the numbers. So many businesses, I always remember there was Sir John Harvey Jones famously said when he took over at ICI, he said, I know that 50% of my marketing is a waste of money. The trouble is I don't know which 50%. And that is true with 99% of all small businesses. They know they're winning an amount of money, but they're spending money and putting time and effort into various marketing things without really understanding firstly where they are right now. How many leads did they get? Where did those leads come from? What's the conversion rate of those leads into a meeting? What's their average unit of sale, and so on and so forth. And these are really essential key performance indicators for their business. And then the second mistake is, in a way, it's just being happy with what you've got. You're on LinkedIn and you win an amount of business, or you're doing email marketing and that's working okay. But the truth is, they don't what I call maximize their return on investment. They're doing it, but they're not getting the best out of it. And in marketing, often there is no correlation between effort and reward. What I mean by that is that you can advertise on Google and get no leads, or you can advertise on Google and get thousands of leads. And it can be just that little tweak, that little change of something, like the change of a headline, the change of a landing page, changing the words, changing the call to action, adding testimonials, as you said. The testimonials, for example, when I talk to people about testimonials and referrals and things like that, they often tell me, take referrals for an example. They'll say things like, oh yeah, we win a lot of our business from referral. I said, fantastic. Tell me, what's your referral marketing system? How do you do that? They go, well, we don't really have one. We just do a good job and hope that people will recommend us. So hope produces a result, an amount of business. But if you looked at 100 customers and said, right, okay, right now I'm getting referrals from 10% of them, and perhaps at the other end there's 2% that wouldn't, because nobody's perfect. That leaves 88% of people who would recommend you. They just don't wake up every morning thinking, who can I recommend John to, or Steve to, or anybody else. So there's a massive potential there by developing a referral system of massively growing a business.
And I think it's sometimes just having the form of words. If you're not confident about asking for referral or recommendation, having a structure to do that in a way that's doesn't feel like you're begging or you're desperate, because as you said, many people are quite pleased to do that for you. Now, Steve, you mentioned digital, and I think you're absolutely right. I think digital is a shop front for every single business nowadays. It's just that most or many businesses haven't fully embraced that. And I know you're a very strong advocate of social media,
yeah,
and a big user of various tools within, but also I think particularly of LinkedIn. Could you just give us a little bit of a sense of why you think LinkedIn is so important for business?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd like to just talk for a second as well about social media generally, and why there's this massive, almost like whirlwind all about it. Everybody's saying how great it is and let's do it and so on. But the simple truth of the matter often is people don't do enough. And I'd say that's the case on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are. If I could give somebody some simple, easy advice, it could come down to 2 words: do more. Put more time and effort in. I hear people say, oh yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm active on LinkedIn. I say, oh really? What do you do there? Well, we post on there once a month. And it's like, give me a break. That's like going to the gym once a month and expecting to lose weight or increase your muscles. It just ain't gonna work. You're not going to get fitter going to the gym once a month. You've got to be on there, ideally every day, doing something, some form of exercise and eating properly and so on. And so it is with LinkedIn. And so, my top 3 tips on LinkedIn would be, number one, where I win most of my business from LinkedIn is by speaking to people. It's actually picking up the phone and talking to people, and not that many people do. Do you know what? I've got just over 9,000 contacts on LinkedIn, and have a guess so far this year, John, how many people have phoned me from LinkedIn? How many phone calls have I had in? What would you reckon? In round
5, 10?
None, not one phone call from any of the people who I'm connected to. I phone them, but nobody has ever phoned me, and that's costing them money. So that would be number one. Number 2 would be, I've got 9,000 contacts, and it would be growing your database. If you're I don't know, if you're in Basingstoke and your market is accountants within a 20-mile radius, and you're only connected to half of them, that means half of them don't know who you are. And there's no reason for that, because you could easily go and ask those people to connect. So not connecting to people would be the next one. And then I suppose the third one would be, I suppose it links to speaking, but also just using LinkedIn to communicate and to build your brand. I mean, just by posting on LinkedIn and getting, hundreds or even thousands of people to see your posts or watch your videos, or, just recognize who you are. And then when you do phone them, they sort of know you. It's amazing, when I phone people, because I'm posting on LinkedIn 5-10 times a day, and I pick up the phone and go, "Oh, hi, Steve Mills here. We're connected on LinkedIn." "Oh, Steve, yeah, I keep seeing your posts." "Oh, right. Oh, that's good." And off we go for a nice conversation. This is not about cold calling people. It's about, I call it lukewarm calling. I might have not spoken to them before, or it might have been a little while ago, because I've got 9,000 people. You can't call them every day. That would be my top three things, really.
Okay, thank you. And I think over the years, if I remember correctly, you've had some pretty significant not followers, views of some of your posts. I can't remember. One was tens of thousands, I think it was.
Yeah.
Don't you regularly get 10,000 listening to your podcasts and that kind of thing?
Yeah. It's amazing. If you use it, it works. People. I had somebody the other day tell me that you can't do videos that are longer than 2 minutes, because nobody will watch them. And yet one of my videos has had something like 18,000 views, and it's over 2 hours long. So and I see other people, some of the top people in the world, in the world of marketing, have had videos with 2 million people watching. I'm doing really well on my podcast, getting like 7, 8, 9, 10,000 people per episode, because basically because I'm on iTunes and I'm on Amazon Music. I mean, that's like in the old days when I started, have been on TV almost, certainly on the radio. That's like getting myself on, I don't know, Radio 2 or something like that. Get because I'm utilizing iTunes and Amazon and so on, and getting those sorts of numbers mainly through there. It's a fantastic opportunity, and we can now advertise on TV and on radio for free, although these days it's called YouTube and podcasts. But it is in effect the modern day version of TV and radio advertising.
And I think you seem to combine, if I may, some of the old world with the new world. So you're very on top of the digital, but as you've said, pick up the phone, use the phone to contact. So it's a combination of, remote, but direct as well. I think you've got relatively strong views as well about networking and network events and face-to-face meetings where possible. Steve, do you want to just share some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and that again, really observant there. I really believe that quite passionately. If you live in one of those two worlds, you're losing out. Full stop. If you're living in a world where you're just going networking, you're doing things in what I called it old-fashioned or old style of marketing, going networking, relying on referral, even sending out letters, picking up the phone and all that sort of stuff, advertising in newspapers or magazines or whatever, you're missing out on a whole load of opportunities online. And the same if you're doing it the other way around. So I firmly believe in utilizing, I call it really maximizing your potential and producing multiple streams of income. Everybody listening could have a stream of income called referral. another one called email marketing, another one called LinkedIn, another one called YouTube, and so on. And then what they've got to do, in my opinion, is to maximize their return on investment from each of those, and then go and develop a new form of income. So they might try Google AdWords or Facebook AdWords or, you know, YouTube advertising, and so on and so forth. So, you know, that I think is absolutely essential in the modern world, to not only just be digital based, but utilize even the two together. Like, you know, as I mentioned, use LinkedIn and then pick up the phone and call people. So that's using, or even send them a letter. You know, I've got here, I can just show you here, John. See that there? It's a postcard, right? Paper. And it says, "Thank you for connecting on LinkedIn. Hopefully, I'll read it. Hopefully you've looked up at what I do. So why don't we meet up and take the first steps to improving your sales?" And I send that out to people, because it's a bit different as well, John, to be honest, you know, and I think that's a good thing to be in the world of marketing too.
Hey, you and I share a couple of things in common besides being from Sheffield. We both appreciate sport a lot, and I think you more than I have explored the sort of parallel between success in sports and success in business. And, you know, to the people on the you know, watching the video today, Steve was a professional international tennis player for a number of years before he turned to business. And Steve, you know, I'd be really just give us a couple of thoughts as to the parallels. You know, high performance in sport. How does that parallel high performance in business, and what can we learn from sport and apply to?
First of all, sadly, it wasn't tennis. It should have been tennis, but it was table tennis.
I think I meant table tennis. So.
A lot more money, John, and I'd be rolling in it now. But it was actually table tennis, which has not quite got the glamour of tennis, but it's the same thing. So yeah, I think where I picked up this idea and habit of looking at everything and going, how can I do that better? How can that be improved? I think I got that from my table tennis days. I was never really, you know, the most talented player, and I never found it easy. I just spent 10 years working my guts out, you know, grinding every day, hours and hours and hours of practice, and always looking for how to do things better. And I actually, in a way, formed a philosophy of who's the best people I could practice with. And I used to travel from Sheffield over to Manchester 4 days a week, year after year, to go and practice with particularly two players, a guy called John Hilton and Nigel Eckersley. John was the European champion. Nigel was ranked about 5 or 6 in England. And I used to go over there, spend all day there, and just almost like learn from them. And when I got involved in the world of business, I thought, and still do, think to myself, right, who's the best in the world that I can go and learn from, and how can I then help other people using the knowledge that I've acquired through my insatiable desire, I suppose, to you know, to learn and to be at the cutting edge of marketing and business growth and sales and so on.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Steve. So our final question on our interview today is really a little bit about why you do what you do. You've done it for a while, but tell me what it is that motivates you.
Joe, when I first started, I decided that my aim was to help as many small businesses as I could. I read a book. I've got it here somewhere. There it is. This book here. It's called, it's called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It's a great book. Strongly recommend people go and buy it. I'm not on commission, just to clarify. But I read that book, and Gerber said that 80% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. And I thought, that's terrible, that, you know. what could I do to help stop that? Now, I know I'm never going to help stop it, but at least reduce it. And I thought to myself, why is that? What are the reasons behind it? And I think the number one reason is one thing. It's lack of sales. You know, if you had enough sales and they were profitable sales in your business, all the other problems would disappear. You know, you'd have enough money. You know, if you got finance problems or HR problems, you'd have enough money to employ a finance director or a HR manager to sort those problems out. And so, you know, I think you know, that was the driving force for me, really, the desire to help small businesses. And I've still got that desire, even at my, let's say, slightly more advanced age now.
Right. So that's fantastic. Thank you ever so much, Steve. And I think, yeah, I like that very much. Sales is the lifeblood of the business, and that's that. If you get the sales coming, then you're going to be not much greater chance of not being one of those 80%.
Yeah.
I think also I picked up today, Steve, is a combination of digital with face-to-face, with person, you know, network, and as you say, pick up the phone. The phone can make you money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so it's a combination of that and the new world and the old world, which is going to bring you business. So thank you ever so much. I think that's been really useful. How do people get in touch with you, Steve? How do they find you?
Yeah, thanks ever so much, John. The best thing to do is just to go to my website, which is www.steve-mills.com. On there, you'll find loads of free stuff. So go and have a look at that, videos and free reports and stuff like that you can download. Or if listeners would like to book a free, no obligation meeting with me, you'll see some big gold buttons. Just click one of those. That gives you access to my online diary. You can find a time that's suitable for you and book a Zoom meeting, and we can have a conversation about your business and how I may be able to help you.
Excellent. That's brilliant. Okay, and I'll put some stuff in the notes here as well. So thank you very much, Steve. We'll be staying in touch, but hopefully that's been really useful for people listening today. Thank you now. Take care.
Thank you very much, John, and thank